Hey guys, it's Alex Pierce. Today we're going to be talking about downloading and installing Blender. Yep, starting at the very basics here. You can of course skip this video if you already know how to do this or if you've already done it, but yeah, hang in there if you want to know. So if you're on Windows, so you can go to Microsoft Store and you can search for Blender. So right now there are two versions of Blender. There's Blender and there's Blender 2.83 LTS. LTS stands for long-term support. You can see I have both of these installed. I highly recommend for right now, if you're just getting started, to definitely have at least the latest version, which is 2.91, I believe just came out. So you can get the long-term support version if you want. There's some pros and cons to that. The main reason long-term support is good is for studios and people who are going to be working on long-term projects. But definitely you want to install 2.91, whatever's the latest version. You can also install it at Steam if you have a Steam account and search for Blender. I already searched for it, so you can see it here, and you can add it to your queue. You can download it, so you can get it through Steam as well. And then the other place, of course, is just blender.org. So when you go to blender.org, it'll bring you straight to the homepage, which has the latest version, the latest released version, which is 2.91. If you're not sure which version to get, just get this version, whatever version is here at blender.org, and don't worry about it. Just download. And they have versions here for Windows, Mac, Linux. It'll bring you to the Steam store, or you can download the source code if you're really cool. Then you also have a link to the long-term support, so I'll just click on that. I'll open a new tab. So it gives you the long-term support version. It tells you, sort of what the planned for long-term release is. And then if you keep looking, let's see, there is somewhere else. Let's see, other versions, no, info, no, it's not there. Oh yeah, there's download Blender experimental. So you can click on this and you can see that you can download, as of today, 2.92 alpha, which I already have installed as well for Mac, Linux, or Windows. And then the other place you can go, I don't even remember how to find it from here, but if you go to download.blender.org, it'll bring you to the releases, and this is where you can download every official release basically ever published. So if you want Blender 2.79, you can download that. You can download 1.8 or 1. If you're new to Blender, don't even worry about this. There's no reason for you to even wonder about which one you should get. Just get the latest and be done with it. So I like to have the exe files on my computer, and I recommend, if you're going to download the zip files and keep different versions of Blender, like you can see I have here, download them all to the same place, because then you can, first of all, you can see what you already have and what you don't have, and it'll be easier later on when you need to come back and open up an older version or a newer version. You can sort of know where they're all at. So download it to whatever folder you want. I have it in one called Blender Apps. Okay, so I've downloaded the zip file, show in folder, and now I have this zip. If I go to unzip this, if you download them this way, you can double click into the folder and then find the blender.exe. This is really the only file you need to worry about right now, and double click that. This will open Blender on your computer, and I highly recommend you go down to your tray and right click pin to taskbar. That will pin this app to the bottom of your taskbar here. So you can see down here I have this is a version of Blender, this is a version of Blender, this is a version of Blender, and this is a version of Blender. And if you're going to have multiple versions like me, I recommend you having them sorted one way or the other. The way I have them sorted right now is the earliest to latest. So this is probably 2.79, 2.82, 2.83, and then 2.91. But however you want to do it is up to you. Okay, when you first open Blender, you should get a screen that looks something like this. If you're on an older or new version, you might have a different version here, but for the most part, it should look the same. And old school versions of Blender, you had to select with right, and so for some reason that's still an option here, but you want to just leave this at left, please. You can choose spacebar to be play, tools, or search. I just use spacebar to do play because that's how my video software works as well. but you can always change this stuff later, so you don't worry too much about this initial thing. For now, just leave everything blank. We're going to talk about different key maps in another video very soon, and you can choose if you want to have a Maya look or a Moto look, but this really just changes the way it looks. So I'm going to go with Blender Dark. It's my favorite. If you have a previous version of Blender installed, you can also load those settings here, which is probably the thing to do if you've already installed an older version. Probably you want to use an old version of it. But for now, I'm just going to keep this as the same, and I'm going to say Save New Setting. When you get this, then you have any recent files you've opened are on the right. You can recover last session, open, release notes and development folder here, and then, of course, here's where you can open a new file. And most of the time, you're going to just start with a general. For me, at least, I'm just going to start with a general. If you're new to Blender, just click General. And this is not what it will look like. Let's see. This is something I have saved. So let me go to Defaults, Load Factory Settings, so we can all be on the same page here. And this is what you should see when you open up Blender. And I'm actually going to go ahead and save startup file so it looks like yours, so we can all be on the same page here. So if you see this cube, you have installed Blender correctly. So congratulations. Okay, in the next videos, we're going to be talking about the user interface, how we can make it work for us instead of us working for it, how we can close and how we can open and close. Try that again. So in the next videos, we're going to be talking about the user interface and how we can split windows and how we can collapse windows and how we can use different workspaces to work more efficiently, and how we can get things set up in different ways and then save those as our default loading, so that the next time you open this up, it will now open up, certain things in certain windows for you. All right, that's it for now. Make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you have any questions.